Hey, what's up, everybody? It's me, Yemmy the Ferret, and we're here with another episode of Film Freakz with a Z, the podcast all about movies with a Z. Oh, every podcast is about one singular movie suggested by one of us, or by one of you. That's right, the fan vote is live right now as you're listening to this, attached to my promotional tweet for this episode. The 4 movies you can choose from are Power Rangers from 2017, which was suggested by our listener, Andrew. Also, you can vote on Starship Troopers from 1997, which was voted on by Nathan, a.k.a. Iovio, a.k.a. The Pickle Man. Also, Blade Runner from 1982, which was requested by Punisher. And finally, Megamind from 2010, which was suggested by a retro fellow. So make sure you jump on over to my Twitter, vote for your favorite one, and we will reveal the winner in the next episode. That is right. But that's for later, because right now we got another movie to talk about. But let's introduce ourselves first. I am Yemmy the Ferret, a.k.a. Yemmy. Who am I here with?
Greedy Waffle.
Taymation.
Coco Gamer.
What is up, boys?
Oh, not much. How are you doing?
Not much.
Not much.
Not much.
Yeah, not much going on today. Except for a movie that we have to talk about.
Oh, is that why we're here?
Yes, that is why we're here.
I forgot my movie.
We're doing something?
So let's sit up straight, exhale, and have Tay introduce the movie he suggested.
Alright, so I suggested A Quiet Place from 2018, starring Emily Blunt, John Krasinski, Millicent Simmons, Noah Jupe, Cade Woodward, and it's a post-apocalyptic world. A family is forced to live in silence while hiding from monsters with ultra-sensitive hearing. Pretty self-explanatory, I think. So let's get off on what'd you guys think of the premise of the movie? Let's start there, I guess.
Good old John Krasinski.
Yeah.
That is the guy from The Office, right?
Yes.
Same guy?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, it is. It's
Wasn't
Jim.
it funny? Last episode we had a guy from The Office, and this episode we also have a guy from The Office.
We're spreading the office love.
Yeah, so there are hidden clues throughout all the podcasts. Try to put it together.
Coco, you better suggest a movie with someone from The Office.
That's a lot of
Alright,
pressure.
so I actually wanted to start off the conversation with...
Well, Tay actually already did start the conversation.
Oh, yeah.
We got off track because Nick was too busy thinking about The Office. Can you repeat your starting point, Tay?
I don't even remember anymore. What do you got, Nick?
I was confused on what attracted these monsters. Like, I know it was sound, but like I think the movie even got confused with what attracted the monsters, because there was so many other times where the monsters should have came, but they didn't. Like there was just so many parts where it was like, oh, the monsters didn't come. Why not? Oh, the monsters are here. Why? It was just like, it's like contradicting itself. What do you guys think?
The reason I figured the reason for that was the monsters aren't. There's only 3 of them. Like so they're not everywhere all the time. And sometimes, a big noise what would have been considered a big noise where they were at, there might have been a bigger noise somewhere else that the monsters were investigating.
Yeah. What got me though was like they were so I get they're so careful with their movements, but like when she was shaking the pills, she was so worried about the pills shaking. But even though there was writers, it was like even though like there was writers actually I can't. I'm summing up my words. Sorry. Like pills shaking, but even though like sounds like that wouldn't have driven any monster because it was too quiet to actually hear.
Where did they get all this sand from?
I know.
I wondered that.
They just go to the local Home Depot and just buy all the sandbags.
Yeah, we only saw like one
Well, I mean,
store
they
they
didn't
went
have
into.
Yeah, so they didn't have to buy them. Everything's dead. They just took them. So they may have gone from there. They may have wandered to a beach somewhere.
But also the radio equipment they got. I'm pretty sure that no stores have this much radio equipment in them.
Well, I would think that the dad has already dabbled in like the broadcast, not like broadcasting like out into the world, but he was dabbling with two-way radio, not two-way, and antenna radios and stuff like that. He might have already had a lot of the equipment already. I mean, this is a farm we're talking about where they have lots of land, and let's say you have a walkie-talkie or something like that. You could talk to a worker or a family member through that system.
Yeah.
Of course, they didn't show that, but that's the only thing I can think of is why he would have all that equipment already, unless he ransacked like a police station or something.
That's it. But I think it's kind of just like a movie trope that all farmers have that stuff. Like, think about other movies where there's farms. Like, they always have just random like broadcast stuff, and you're like, well, okay, I guess.
No, right.
In the beginning, what was wrong with that kid in the beginning? Like, why was he on the ground? I mean, did I miss that part? Or
No,
on the ground.
I mean, all they said he was sick. They found some pills, and he was gonna be better.
Oh, yeah. I guess he had a stomach ache or something. They never explained anything about that. I think they just did that for like antibiotics or something like that.
Yeah.
Just to show just to show the story that no one's here, and I guess like they set the apocalypse tone.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was just more to show the town and give a chance for the one kid to get the noisy toy.
So they showed
so I think
that
it was probably just a one-time bug or something. Like, oh well, we have to go in town to take care of this bug.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. The biggest irk of this movie was just like I think they confused themselves what attracted the monsters because her in the beginning of the movie, her grabbing the pills. I mean, she did it ever so. What's the word I'm looking for? Like so smoothly, and then like they're stepping on leaves. It's like some leaves, they crumble like cloud.
If a pill shaking were retracted, then wouldn't we squawk retracted too?
I didn't see that as her trying to, keep the pills inside steady. I saw that as her trying not to knock any of the other things over on the shelf, and also not drop it herself. That's what I didn't see that as like pills being dropped. I think there was kind of like a Mission Impossible where there was a level of sound that you could do that was like tolerable, that wouldn't get you in trouble. So like them walking on the sand or on tiptoeing across the hardwood, or even her grabbing the pills and like let's say that she shook it. I don't think that would attract it. I think it's the fact that there were so many other bottles around it, and she needed to be very, very careful about which one she took, or making sure not to knock anything else over. That's how I saw it.
Yeah, and you have to remember. So the very beginning of the movie, this whole thing was new. Like it'd been 84 days, I think, or something like that. Where it's
something like that.
So everyone doesn't know what the rules are technically yet. They just know sound is the issue. By 3 years later. After that point, they might go, okay, I know we can make little noise here and there.
Also, I wanted to, this is one of my biggest issues with the movie. So, when they, get the kid, they get the rocket and tell him, no, you have to leave it here. They put the batteries and the rocket right next to each other, so it's very easable for the kid, even though it's no, you can't take it. It's what's stopping this kid from taking it?
Yeah, well, also he doesn't lead the kid out first. He lets him follow.
I was about to say that next.
He has to die.
Why is the youngest kid all the way in the back, 15 feet behind him? Because the dad. John was almost at the end of the bridge when the rocket went off and Monster came. I was like, what? Your youngest kid is all the way in the back, It's cool, I guess.
No, that was my thing. It's you have one adult in the front, one adult in the back. That's just... So there was a few things about this movie that were just it seemed like they were just common sense things that they could have solved some of their problems. It's still a big problem, but...
It was a huge preventable death.
It could have just been they were overconfident, They were or just not, obviously, like Tay said, it's pretty early into whatever's going on, and maybe it's just Didn't occur to him.
And the kid that got killed in the beginning was the youngest, correct? Because
Yeah.
the dad was carrying someone too. Like,
He was
why
carrying
wasn't
the
he
sick
carrying?
boy.
Oh,
Yeah,
the sick boy. Okay,
Yeah, because the
That makes
mom
sense.
actually had an issue, but like after she had the baby, she started freaking out. She's like, I should have been carrying him, like talking about the boy who died.
Yep.
She's like, I should have been carrying him, but I had a backpack and he was heavy. I was tired, so I didn't carry him. Because her guilt.
Mm-hmm. Sorry, I guess that's no one's turn. I'm say I can't stress this enough. Why do you have a kid during an apocalypse?
Yes, that's the other common sense thing that I'm like. This seems like
How
a
did
bad.
they- Go ahead.
Sorry, like this seems like a bad time to have a kid.
Yeah, I mean, how do they, do it? Like, how were they so quiet? I mean, yeah, there's the, thought of maybe at the waterfall, but
It seems like John was
I
the
don't
only
want to
one
get
who was
into
ever
it.
gone to the waterfall.
Yeah, why?
Yeah,
That's the other thing. Why don't they all live at the waterfall?
Exactly.
Live at the Hoover Dam, cross country.
Well, that'd be big cross country since they're in like Pennsylvania.
Yeah, well, that The Walking Dead can do it. They can do it too.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I mean, The Walking Dead was different. I mean,
You try being quiet, walking all the way across country.
Yeah.
I guess you can
You'd run
step
out
on
of sand.
leaves
Yeah.
and run on sand. So, I mean, I don't see the big issue.
Yeah.
Well, you would think when he was running that the spacecraft was making more noise, as we learn later on. Bigger noises attract them than smaller noises.
Yeah. There was preventable death there, but
Well, I mean, it's very preventable. This kid, obviously, the very dumb kid, put the batteries back in the thing, even though he knows to be quiet. He's tiptoeing around. It's not like he's stomping around that store. He's tiptoeing around and doing his thing. And it's like, shouldn't he know? Like, you would think that he would wait to play with the toy until he get home, or something like that.
Exactly.
I'm just trying to think of this from my own perspective. When I was a kid, like, I wouldn't usually play with a toy until I got all the way home, and then you play with it. But
Well, you have to remember when you were a kid, all the way home was like maybe a 5-minute drive. For him, it was a half-hour walk.
Well, we never really know how much.
Well, yeah, but
Could have
it's a
been
long walk. It's
a really long walk.
He's like a 4-year-old.
Still,
Yeah,
it's
just
more
don't-
parents' fault.
I agree with Yemmy because kid knows to be quiet. He's not like crying or anything. And
I know.
I mean, I guess toys takes the best of them. I guess I don't know.
well, I think that the dad really should have just taken the batteries with them. I mean, that's a pretty good resource to have, especially if they're working.
Uh-huh.
But also, what toy comes with batteries?
Yes.
None.
Yeah.
We're
For this
seeing
movie, yeah,
everything has to
rockets.
make sense to the plot. So.
Although I will say, sorry, go ahead, Nick.
No, you go. I was going to change subject. Go ahead.
I was surprised that when the kid died. Like, I thought when he took the batteries, I'm like, oh, this is going to be a problem from down the road. It's going to cause a problem. I didn't expect it to be a problem that quickly. I was just like, oh, okay.
It's like, as soon as he starts playing, he's like, oh, well, that's one. That's one down.
Man, what are you keeping a tally over there, Coco?
Well, I was just thinking, he was like, obviously, like, in these types of movies, there's always going to be someone's going to die.
Well, yeah, that's a kind of a trope with most horror or
Yeah.
thriller movies like this. Is like someone dies very early on, and then like no one dies for like an hour in the movie.
Yes, exactly.
To be fair, though, it's rarely a child who dies.
That's true.
So
True.
that's why I was a little surprised. I was like, oh, okay. I thought, this was going to be like the cause of the dad's death, like down the road or something, not the kid's
Like he
death
sacrificed
2
his
minutes
wife.
from now.
Yeah.
All right. Well, can we move on?
We can move on.
Yeah, we move on.
Let's move on.
All right. Next, let's talk about the little girl, the one with the hearing aid. Everything is her fault, right? Do we all agree on that?
Yeah.
It's pretty cruel, but it's true.
Yeah.
But it's true. I mean, the rocket is her fault, and then the ending is her fault too. I want to say.
Well, yeah, not being
The
there
ending
for
is
her
not-
mom when she was, in labor.
They were, yeah. But I mean, that's not fully her fault. It's not her fault the monster showed up there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
True.
but she turns off her hearing aid, which she knew by then stops the monsters.
She should have, but it took her longer to put it together.
Yeah, I was to say,
extremely long to put it together.
Yeah, I don't think she 100% knew that that's how you stop the monsters. I mean, it was because I don't even think she even saw the monster was there when it initially was whacking out. She had her back turned to the monster, and the monster ran away before she even turned it off. So I don't think she really knew until the next time it happened, which was in the car.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, right when John,
well, in the silo, she kind of should have put it together at that point, but
yeah.
Yeah,
the Rocket, the youngest brother dying, completely her fault. I mean,
yeah.
Gave the Rocket. I mean, I'm pretty sure the kid would have grabbed the Rocket, maybe the batteries, but I mean, her giving him the Rocket was like, oh, here you go, and then he's like, oh, well, since she gave me this, I'm gonna grab the batteries.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's why she she knew it was her fault. She blamed herself. She thought her parents hated her because of it.
That is true, 100%.
So it's not like the movie just kind of brushed it off and went, oh well, no, there was a lot of most of their problems stemmed from that. That's why the dad didn't want her to leave, trust her to leave the house, because it's like, you can't hear anything. You don't know if you're making noise. I can't have that when we're out and about.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But she takes it as, oh, he doesn't love me anymore because I screwed up.
Right.
So she screws up.
Teenage girl drama.
Speaking of sounds, I thought the sound design in this movie was top notch.
Oh yeah.
All the small little things that probably took them hours to get right.
And when the monster opened up his ear, you can hear parts of his body moving around.
Mm-hmm.
As he opened up his ear, you can hear with a ringing in his ears, it was when it was not kind of far away. He had a tiny ticks, and then but when he was opening up, you could hear it before. When we opened up his ticks and got in closer, you can actually really hear it, which is really.
Well, they did a great job of each character that was on the screen. If it was a solo person, the girl who was deaf, she it's all silence pretty much for the entire time that you see her on screen. Then, when you're following the father, you're kind of hearing some subtle things. And I think they did a really good job of with the music too. The music didn't really pick up until the end of the movie when things were kind of going crazy. And I think they did a really good job of making it so you knew that a small sound could mean death, especially at the beginning of the movie when the slightest noise is really amplified in your ear because that's the only thing you can hear because everything else is silenced because these monsters have killed everything that has made noise on the planet.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I also thought the cinematography was really, really well.
Yeah.
Really good.
Yeah, the monsters were great.
I like the sound of the monsters. I mean, you can say they took it from Alien or any other alien movies, but I like the little ticking noises they were doing and all that. That was, I thought that was good details.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, the camera work is amazing, phenomenal. I would say. I mean, the framing of some of the shots were really, really good, especially when you're looking at the farm and stuff like that, or having the scene where they're all walking across the bridge is very aesthetically pleasing.
The scene with the old man, where you can see him, a tiny shadow of him appear when you walk.
He was kind of blurry in the background, and then all of a sudden he comes up. Well, that leads me to the one thing I didn't really like about this movie is there was a lot of cheap jump scares in it. The man peeking up behind him and the music going boom, but there's nothing actually making a noise or anything like that.
Yeah, it's not really scary.
It's just designed to make you jump, and I don't like that's cheap. I feel like that's cheap. Some of the jump scares were justified, but I think most of them were just that didn't actually make any noise. I don't know why there was this swell of music that made you jump.
I was actually expecting it a lot more. This whole movie, I was like, this movie's quiet. I know it, and then there's gonna be this sudden boom or the sudden ding. I was expecting it.
roof. You're like expecting it, like
But
kind of
it
like
still made me jump too, especially
Yeah.
at that old man part.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
that
I
that
was
goes
relied
back.
on
That happened
stairs.
more. Yeah.
Yeah, that goes back to what I was saying about them doing like a good job with like having things being really quiet and then getting really loud. But I think that it doesn't work as well when you're doing those things like, oh, she put her hand on the shower. I don't think she smacked her hand on it. It looked like she just placed her hand on it, but they made a noise like a giant bass going off, and you're like,
Yeah.
ooh! It's like that.
to make it dramatic.
Yeah,
Which
just
should have attracted the monsters. But
like I said, I don't think she actually smacked the shower. I think it was just the music. You know,
Yeah, it's music like picking up for a second.
Yeah.
Just give it a jump scare.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Like the problem is, how could she really like get out of that bed? Because it wasn't like the monster
tub?
did leave, but it wasn't like wouldn't the baby just be crying for me from the start? And plus, that probably took a ton out of her. So I'm surprised she could even make it out of the tub.
Yeah, it's kind of weird that she was able to do all that directly after childbirth, especially
Mhm.
without any sedatives or help or doctors or
Yeah.
anything like that.
Yeah, but that was just to give you this, like, oh, she died, but it's like I know she doesn't.
Yeah, it's
She's
like
in the
it
sequel.
wouldn't make sense that she died.
Well, since we're at the baby birth part, I mean, I don't know what they did. I mean, that was the quickest birth for one, and two, how did they get the baby to shut up so quick? Like,
Yeah,
I don't know. I mean, just like that. I know it's a movie, and I just need to get over it and tell myself that it's a movie. But it's just like the monsters definitely would have found them and killed them. I don't care. Like the fireworks are going off. The fireworks would have stopped, and that baby would have still been crying.
yeah.
And the water wouldn't be able to it's not overpowering the not overpowering the choirs either, so it wouldn't make sense. So yeah, it would not make sense if it survived.
Yeah, also, I'm pretty sure labor is like an hour, hours long experience. It's not just like, oh,
No, it depends. It's person to person. Some are super quick. Some are days.
days.
Eh.
Well, it's a good thing that didn't happen in this one.
Yeah.
So,
That'd be
I mean,
weird.
I really don't need to know this, but how she cut her umbilical cord? Like,
True.
I mean, it would have been cool to like quick scene. She was getting chased by the monster. There's no way in time she had to grab a knife or anything to cut it. So,
She bit it
Yeah.
off.
yeah.
Well, I'm
Ooh.
guessing what happened, but we don't need to picture that.
That's why I said I don't need to know what happened, but I mean, it's just no questions that I had throughout the movie. I was like,
Yeah, it's one of those things that I didn't think about during the movie, but now that you brought it up,
Yeah.
I guess I'll be scarred for life then.
Same.
all right. Can we move on to the little dungeon they had after the birth of the baby?
No, we need to talk about the nail going through the floor first.
Oh yeah, you guys talk about that. Oh my.
Uh,
Because that happened before the
That
birth
was
of the
so
baby.
Oh, that's
tendinitis.
I want this is probably the thing that I have the most problem with in this entire movie is who the hell hammers a nail through the bottom of a stair, and you can tell with how those stairs are set up that there's nothing really where that
Yeah.
nail would be that they would need to hammer there. And if you did hammer a nail through a stair like that, and you go, oh, it went through, wouldn't you just take it out?
I know.
So I think I was wondering the same thing, but I think what happened is when she got caught on the nail, so I think it was kind of just on an angle, and then when she got caught, she bent it so it pointed up.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, when he saw that it had gone all the way through, wouldn't you just take it out? You wouldn't just hammer it down flat with a hammer.
But
I agree.
Who knows? Because the monsters could have been there at the time, and they couldn't have done anything about it.
I think they would have built the stairs long before the
Yeah,
monsters
with
came around.
Monsters. Yeah.
But
I
that's
agree.
just
but-
like you can even see the stairs like when you're looking down them. Like there's no other nails like that. So obviously it was just like a fluke that someone
I
nailed.
figured it out, guys.
Uh-oh.
I figured it out. Macaulay Culkin was there.
I knew it. He's the commander of the monsters.
Yeah.
Yep.
Also, she felt like something was tugging, and then finally got loose and heard something like pling up why wouldn't she check that? She's like, oh,
mean-
something's tugging at my stairs and being ripped something off the bag. Wouldn't she check to see what it was?
I
Didn't
don't
she?
know.
Didn't she
You'd
drop?
think,
Didn't
but-
she drop something at that moment, like a picture frame or something? And that's
No, that was
that was when
no,
she
that
got
was that.
stabbed.
Okay,
by
that
it.
was what
that
she
was
got,
in the
okay.
dungeon that I
Okay.
want to talk about. Which actually,
The staircase
good thing-
didn't go down to the dungeon that you're thinking of. I think
No, that
the dungeon was like in the barn or something like that.
Yeah, it was
Yes.
where they were going to keep the baby, so they could gas the baby to keep it quiet.
Yeah.
Yes, the baby.
Well, Nick, since
They did.
you're you really want to talk about this dungeon. Let's go. Let's hear it.
So I just don't get. I mean, maybe I missed it. So they put the mattress to cover it, right?
Mhm.
And then John's like, "Oh, we can talk down here," but a picture frame, I mean, makes the monsters come. Like it just
talking
didn't make
just-
sense how they can talk. You know,
Well,
with the
they did
mattress.
soundproof that dungeon
That's
quite
what
a bit.
the paper mache kind of stuff they were showing.
Yeah, that. Although I don't know if a mattress would muffle your voice enough, to be honest.
Yeah,
It's like an
no.
old school one, so it might be thick
There they
enough.
were.
Yeah.
Well, I'm pretty sure she dropped the pic. You said she dropped the picture frame when she stepped on the nail, but the nail was in John's
Yeah, no, it was
little man
she
cave.
dropped it
So
into the other room.
So the monsters followed them. Well, if you don't forget that the monsters were following them, and then after all the ruckus was done, and John left to go find the kids, all that water started pouring in, which probably attracted the monsters to that area. You know, because they were wrecking the place up above, and they couldn't find anything.
Yeah.
So I think I get your point, Nick, but I think that you're a little bit wrong there with how you're presenting your case.
Yeah. So if water attracts them, then why aren't they at that waterfall constantly?
Well,
Exactly.
I wrote this in my review on Letterboxd, and I think that it's because they can tune out natural noises, but the sound from the plumbing was different than the sound of running waterfall, you know, and it was also something different for that area. So the waterfall is probably a few miles away, seeing as
Yeah.
you know John
And
and
they-
his kid had to walk a day, it seemed, to get to the river.
And
Yeah.
they probably did investigate the waterfall when they first showed up and went, "Oh, this is just normal noise for this area."
Yeah.
Why'd they kill the raccoon though? Like when they did that jump scare, it's like, oh, we're here. It's like, then, like if they were turning out natural sounds, then why would they just kill a raccoon?
Well, a raccoon
Well, they
is
did.
an animal, and
Yeah, it's not a natural noise. It's an animal. It's food.
But that's the only time you
because
were
the monster was attracted by, I'm pretty sure the monster was attracted by the lamp flying over, and then the raccoons were being pretty loud because they probably got disturbed by the lamp moving, and then that's when the monster found it and squashed it. Rip Rocket Raccoon.
Yeah.
Yep.
Since we're at that part, or back at that part, I should say, why did they have to have another lamp? I mean, that room was pretty well lit,
Yes.
so why did they need another lamp?
I did wonder that too. It's like, all right, that lamp was unnecessary, and especially don't put it on the floor by children. Children are stupid.
Put him exactly right behind him, and elbow length. That's a great idea.
It's like the parents learned nothing.
I think regular.
Well, they were playing Monopoly, so you got to kind of,
They were
know.
cursing each other in sign language.
Yeah.
That's actually another thing. I don't mean you guys probably aren't sign language. I
Yeah,
don't
we're-
know
they
the
weren't.
term for it. You think the sign language was actually like spot on, or you
Yeah,
think
it
it
was
was all
correct.
made
Yeah,
up?
I'm
Really?
sure they did their research.
Yeah. No, I took sign language in college, and while I've forgotten most of it, there was quite a few signs in there. I was like, oh yeah, I do remember that one.
Okay, that's good. That's cool.
Pretty cool. Still,
I
like,
was
where did
hoping
the sign
that was
language?
the answer.
What was that, Coco?
Where did they learn sign language?
Well, I mean,
Like,
they have a deaf daughter.
so
Yeah.
Yeah, I know they have a deaf daughter, but still, like,
they
still,
learned it before the apocalypse.
Well,
Like,
they
they
do
try
mention
to
in the
do it.
movie that they do grow up. All the kids grew up learning sign language. So
Yeah.
guess.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I'm pretty sure the daughter who was deaf was their first child, so they probably learned it right away when they found out that, oh, our child isn't responding to noises or anything like that. And then, the doctor was like, oh, she's deaf. So they probably started learning it right away, mastered it, taught her, and then they taught the next child who came along. And when you're doing sign language, I mean, you rarely need to talk, to let someone know what you're trying to say. So, like, if they were teaching the smallest child how to do it, they could just write down what the word is and then do the sign. It's not too hard to stretch your imagination for that one.
What I liked is near the end. I just noticed this at the end. Is they're like quietly mumbling the noise that they're sign languaging. I thought that was pretty cool.
They also whispering sometimes in the movie.
Yeah. All right, on to the end.
Yeah, so I pretty much knew from the beginning that the dad at some point was going to have to sacrifice himself because they set that up pretty well throughout the movie. So it wasn't a complete shocker.
No,
right? Not like the kid dying in the first 3 minutes, where it's like, oh, I didn't see that coming. So.
Oh, I did want to talk about the silo.
Well, the silo's technically towards the end.
Yeah, we can talk about Silo.
The ending of the movie, including the silo and pretty much everything after her water breaks, I think that they just had too much happen, in a small time frame. Like, it was like, okay, so her water breaks, okay, so she has to go down. Oh, she steps on a nail. Okay, then we go to John, and there's the old man who screams, okay. And then we go to the deaf girl, and she turns on the rocket, and you think that, that's going to do something. And then, later on, the kid runs into the tractor because he's being chased by something. Oh, and then, it was just so much going on at the same time, and I felt like once they got to the corn silo, that the kids are safe. Like, we don't need anything to happen to them. Just keep them up there and then have something happen while they're trying to get back, later on. I don't think that they needed this much action at the end of this movie.
I disagree. Well, I agree. It is a lot. It's a snowball effect where just all the things start happening. But one thing I really liked about this movie was it was an hour and a half. And a lot of movies like this would have stretched that out to 2 hours, which would have been too long for this movie.
I agree with that.
So I agree. I like that it was just a snowball effect right to the end. And just like, yeah, all right, that was it. We're done. That was great.
I agree. They could have. It's a nice fast-paced action, but I feel like when you have so much of this stuff going on at the same time, it starts to become unrealistic because it's like a series of unfortunate events that I don't think would have happened.
Yeah,
but it's a movie, so of course it happens all at once.
Of course.
Of course. It wouldn't be a movie without dramatic stuff happening.
That's another thing I wanted to mention about the monsters. So it seems like once you make the noise, the monsters know where you're at. Period. It's you could make a noise and step 10 feet to the right, and the monster will still get you. So it's like
it made a noise.
They didn't. I don't know. It's weird.
Well, the way I see it, the monster kind of gets alerted by the sound, but also vibrations kind of more spread around an area. What they did Until Dawn was they see a direct outline of the sound because the more sound they make, the more clear the image they get.
Plus, the monsters are huge. They look like at least 10 feet tall. So they probably had a large wingspan where they could just.
Yeah, pretty large wingspan. We can see where everything. Yeah. Feel everything.
Well, the thing with them, they need a big sound to go. Oh, it's over. Their hearing is so good. They can be a mile away, hear a big sound, and go, okay, heading that direction. And once they're within, a 50 feet premise, any small noise, as you saw, the ticker on the clock, they can hear it. Mm-hmm. So you're breathing, they can hear that.
And plus, they open their ears up, when they know that they're close to something, and that's
they can really hear the sound and know which sound to attack from and not which sound to not.
It's like Daredevil.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Exactly.
That's why references were making this movie.
The one thing the whole movie, the dad's like, what's their weakness? What's their weakness? Of course it's sound. They have extreme hearing. You just need to pump up sound so loud and get it so high pitched, it's gonna hurt.
But it makes exact sense, and I'm surprised. Yeah, which bugged me the most too is that they did not figure this out.
I don't see why they didn't try and like shove something in the monster's ear when he opened
Ear
up.
hole.
Yeah, shoot the monster's ear. That's
To me, I said the same thing, but I think the problem is most of the time
They're too fast.
they weren't in the situation where it was that
they
close.
probably hear the gun cackling and move out of the way or kill him instantly or something.
Yeah, I'm
like
sure
that.
they would hear like wind rushing with like a swing of a sword, or something like that, or
Yeah.
especially like let's say a shotgun, like clicking,
Yeah,
yeah.
They will know exactly what to do.
Yeah, I think.
But also,
you
why
need
would
to-
the shot? Sorry, so you can go.
Okay, yeah. So like I think you would really need to like I feel like these things would be easy to trap on one hand, where it's like we know rushing water will attract them if it's in an unfamiliar place, but it also makes it so they can't hear you very well, and they wouldn't be able to hear a swing of a sword coming into their ear hole.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Sorry, when they were like attacking at the high frequency they were using, I'm surprised they still didn't really try to attack though. They were kind of more like cowering because the sound, like I get it's hurting them, but they could still kind of attack.
It's gotta be very, very painful. I mean, you think of a dog's ears, and dogs hear way more sounds than we do, and they're gonna be affected more by if you're yelling straight into their ear, as opposed to you yelling from down the hallway, right? They can still hear you, but it's amplified times 10 for them when you're right next to them. And the same thing happens with these monsters, where that high-pitched sound is so high-pitched and so loud, and they're picking it up so clearly that it just like scrambles their brain, paralyzes them.
Also, I love the way that they showed that it's like when the vibration was there, it actually kind of showed good representation of it because it like parts of them are breaking off because all the organs inside them would be, all the things inside them would be like vibrating too much, would start to like explode inside them and stuff like that. It was really cool representation.
Yeah. When they were, when the monster was contorting and stuff like that, it really looked like, really, really well done.
Yeah, really,
CG in the movie.
Here's a question for you guys: would it have been cooler, or was it just fine the way they did it? If the monsters, so much sound, the monsters just blew up.
It didn't just blow up; it collapsed, and then it was weakened at that point, so she was able to shoot it and kill it.
No, I'm saying, would it be cooler if they implemented in the movie, if her, doing her hearing aid so loud that monster just blows up?
I thought about that too as it's happening. I was like, is it just going to explode? That'd be kind of cool.
Yeah,
it would cool, but it wouldn't really make as much sense though.
Yeah, I don't think it would have fit the movie to have it just
I don't agree.
head implode.
Yeah, I agree that I like it how they did it.
Yeah,
I like how they did, but I did think they were just going to explode for a little bit. And I really like just how the ending, where they just look at the cameras to see the two more coming, and there's like, she cocks her gun. It's like, all right, we know how to kill him now.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, the ending was badass. I will say that.
Yeah, that was a good ending. A good ending, which it kind of startled me at first. It was like, wait, that when I first watched it, it was like, wait, that's the ending?
Yeah.
I
was really expecting like a whole giant action scene at the end because of what they found, but I think I'm actually satisfied with how they ended it, because
I am
you don't actually need to see that, and the movie wasn't all about the action, it was more about the suspense, and once you find out their weakness and you can kill one, it's like, well, where's the suspense in that? You're just doing the same thing over and over.
Yeah, if they ever do a sequel, you think
it was pushed back because of the virus. It was supposed to be released, I think, this month or last month.
Yes.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if they'll pick up on that, or if they'll just be like, "Oh, we know how to kill him now."
I think
what did I feel like? Is the sequel going to be more like an action movie, or?
It's hard to say.
It showed elements of the past and it showed elements of the present, so it's probably going back and forth.
Yeah, I'm guessing it's going to show the mother, the daughter, and the two sons journeying through the countryside, trying to find people who are still alive to let them know what's up. And
we know there's at least 3 families still alive, or 4 families, however many fires.
Yeah, there was a good amount of fires when you lit that first one.
Mm-hmm. So it just shows us what happened in those years before they found them, kill them, and what happened, what they're going to do after, and stuff like that.
It does seem like those people could have been caught off guard when all those monsters were attacking at night, so possibly most of them didn't make it through that
possibly
night.
most people would
Yeah.
die. But someone would find a way, like other than that, probably, like more, find a way. But someone would have to find a way to kill him. Like would know the way
Yeah.
to kill him.
I was talking to my wife about it because she watched it with me, and I said like I can't believe no one's found out about this now. She's like, some people probably have, but there's no internet or anything anymore, and there's not any way to spread that information very easily.
Right.
True.
So I was like,
Yeah,
oh,
the
okay.
second movie is probably them. They're gonna find, the military, and then they're gonna be like, "Oh, this is how you do it," and then military
Right,
would
yeah,
just
we
be like,
already know.
"America."
It's like, oh no, your idea doesn't work, or something like that.
I'd be
Something.
like, "You're not Brad Pitt. We don't listen to you."
Like, have them go in the stadium, like a giant football stadium, and just like have an AC-130 just blast down into the stadium and kill them all,
It could be
or a
like
bunch of them.
more evolved version of the monsters in the next movie, or they're going to keep the same thing.
They might. Well, that's a good question. Because I would think they would try and make them the same. Because I mean, it takes a long time for creatures to evolve. I mean, of course, we don't know how the genetics work on
Yeah,
these
how
monsters.
they're made or anything. They're
But,
hoping they'll find that, 'cause that's what I want to know.
Yeah. So maybe halfway through the movie, we're gonna find like a new type of monster who has even more armor, or is not as sensitive to sound.
It's gonna be like Tremors, where the first one they hunted by sound, second one they hunted by infrared.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez. All right.
Yeah. Anyone else have anything else they want to say about A Quiet Place?
Yeah, I think I'm good.
No.
All right, Tay, you know the drill. Lead us off with your final thoughts and review.
All right, my final thoughts. Like I said, I think the cinematography was really, really good. The sound design was great. The acting was really good, which is surprising since there was a lot of kid actors, and kid actors usually aren't that great.
Mm-hmm.
But I thought they did a really good job. It was a good premise. Like I said, there was a few little plot holes here and there, and just as Yemmy mentioned, a snowball. We're just like, this wouldn't happen in real life, but it's like, yeah, it's because it's a movie. And yeah, so overall, I really enjoyed the movie. I'm glad I watched it. So I'd probably give it a, let's say, I'd give it 4 out of 5.
Wow.
Wow.
All right. Who wants to go next?
I will. I have all the same thoughts as Tay. Great sound design, great cinematography. I love the way that they established this world early on, and they kind of have a consistent tone throughout the rest of the movie. Acting was incredible from everyone. You didn't expect to see the office guy doing such a serious role, and I'm glad that he did do this, because it shows that he has a lot of strength as an actor, other than just being the comedic side guy. CG was great in the movie. Just a few things that kind of made my head scratch, like the nail through the bottom. That's probably my biggest thing about this, is the nail through the bottom of the stairs. And also just the use of jump scares in this movie was it just was cheap how they used some of the jump scares. So all in all, I do agree with Tay, though. It's a 4 out of 5.
All right. I do, with my pros, I do agree with Yummy and Tay. The acting was pretty good, considering the guy from Office. He also directed it, too. So that should be mentioned, which is highly incredible to direct your own movie and to act in it.
Mm-hmm.
But I think he lost track of like what attracts the monsters, and it could be me just nitpicking it. In the silo scene, the corn, was like quicksand, and then all of a sudden it wasn't. I mean, just there's a lot of like I could nitpick it, like the waterfall, the nail, like Yemi said. Overall, I did enjoy it. I will see the second one when it comes out. However, I'll give it a 3 out of 5.
I agree from the points you guys been saying. Like the CGI was like great. I mean, the monsters were extremely well, and some scene shots were greatly filmed. Great film. The camera work was awesome. Yeah, but there was a couple of plot holes they did, which made a lot of people just scratch their hands like, why didn't you do this? I was like, why did that happen? But overall, I thought it was a pretty good movie. Could use some more time on, but it was a good final part, like I say. So I gave it a 3.5 out of 5.
All right, sounds like we're all kind of on the same page with it. So, Coco, you have a recommendation for us. What you got?
Alright, so I'm going to branch out from Marvel movies and go to DC.
Blasphemy.
Going to DC, and the one movie I've been wanting
Double blasphemy.
for a while.
Let the man talk.
I'm recommending The Dark Knight, which was made in 2008. And here's the summary. When the mask known as the Joker wreaks havoc and chaos on the people of Gotham, Batman must accept one of the greatest physiological and physical tests of his ability to fight injustice. So we got a lot of actors in this. We get Christian Bale as Bruce Wayne, Heath Ledger, which everyone knows as the Joker, best Joker, Aaron Eckhart as Harvey Dent, Michael Caine as Alfred, Maggie
Gyllenhaal.
Gyllenhaal, that's a last name. As Rachel, and Gary Oldman as Gordon, and Morgan Freeman as Lucius Fox. One of the main actors. So it's my movie.
All right.
It's gonna be good to revisit the Batman's.
Okay,
series.
I was afraid when you said DC, I was like, oh no, he's gonna make me watch Justice League, and I was about to punch him. I would quit the podcast right there.
Wonder Woman. Aquaman.
I was expecting like Batman v Superman, and I was gonna be like, no, please. But this is a pleasant surprise. I'm probably gonna watch all three of the movies, to be honest with you guys.
Yeah.
If you guys want to do that too, you can. But I'm just saying, I'm probably gonna watch the whole trilogy because when I watch one, I can't watch one without the others.
That's fair.
I agree with that.
But yeah, good pick, Coco. We'll go ahead and put that on my watch list, and we'll reconvene in 2 weeks with our review of that. And don't forget that the fan vote is also attached to this episode, so make sure you go and vote, and then the winner will be selected, or not selected, but will be shown, and we'll talk about that in Coco's episode, who won, and then the episode after that is their episode. So,
Wait, so what are they supposed to do?
They're supposed to vote.
Oh, okay.
All right, The Dark Knight.
On Amazon, and I think it's on Hulu too.
Yes, it's on Hulu, Vudu. I also have it on Blu-ray.
Yeah, I have it on Blu-ray too.
I believe it's on. You can rent it on Amazon as well, Redbox, and YouTube. Pretty much everywhere that is the usual.
Yeah, I'm about to say it's pretty popular. So
it used to be on Netflix, but obviously it's been taken off a long time ago. Because I remember watching it on Netflix like when I was in college. So. All right. Here's a good thing about this movie. It has 0%, 1.5, and half stars on Letterboxd. So that actually speaks volumes for a movie because, people like to review good movies badly. But we'll talk about it next time, like I said. Anyways, anyone else have anything they want to share before we end the podcast?
Nope.
Okay. Well, thank you for listening and or watching to this episode of Film Freakz. We appreciate you wherever you're listening on. I am Yemmy the Ferret, and I've been here with...
Grady Waffle.
Hey, Nation.
Coco Gamer.
And we are Film Freakz with a Z. Thanks for listening. Goodbye.
See ya.
Bye.
See ya.